Okay, look, let's just dive straight into this. I want you to imagine for a second that someone offered you a guaranteed investment, and I mean completely foolproof. One that couldn't possibly be stolen from you, that couldn't be devalued overnight by some random market crash, and that is absolutely 100% guaranteed to increase your opportunities and create lifelong returns in literally every area of your life. I know, it sounds like a dream scenario, right? Almost like a scam, it's so good. But the crazy thing is, this investment is entirely real. And even better, it is completely within your control.
Now, if I ask you that question, the immediate, obvious answer for pretty much all of us is yes, absolutely, without hesitation, sign me up. But, well, here is the reality check. We'll spend weeks, literally weeks, reading reviews for a new laptop or a car before we buy it. We spend months, sometimes years, meticulously planning our 401ks, our retirement portfolios, tweaking our financial goals. Yet, when it comes to intentionally investing in our own knowledge, our own adaptability, and our own personal growth, we pause, we hesitate, we find excuses. We're so quick to heavily analyze our financial investments, but we completely overlook the single asset that continuously delivers the highest returns.
So let's unpack that. Section 1. The cost of waiting.
Let's have a completely honest coaching moment right here. How many times have you told yourself something like, you know what, I'll take that course next year, or I'll start reading again when work finally slows down, or I'll step up to lead when life gets just a little less crazy? We all do it. And that waiting, it feels completely harmless in the moment. But the cost of that delay is quietly compounding against you every single day. Think about it. Material possessions, cars, the latest tech gadgets, passing market trends, these are all depreciating assets. They literally begin losing value the exact second we acquire them. But human skills, they move in the exact opposite direction. They are appreciating assets. Your communication skills only get sharper with practice. Your adaptability becomes exponentially more valuable as the world becomes more unpredictable. Sure, an economic downturn can wipe out material things, but absolutely no market fluctuation can erase the skills, the deep empathy, and the problem-solving capabilities that you've genuinely built.
The opportunity cost of standing still is often invisible. I want that to sink in, because this is exactly what makes waiting so incredibly dangerous. You don't actively notice the conversations in a high-level meeting that you couldn't quite contribute to. You don't get an alert on your phone about the promotions or the leadership roles you simply weren't prepared for, right? Opportunities don't pass you by because you lack the potential. No, they pass by because your preparation simply never caught up with the possibility.
Moving to Section 2. The asset that appreciates. We are all operating in a world that is fundamentally shifting under our feet right now. I mean, for decades, you could learn one profession, master one single system, and safely ride that out for a solid 30-year career. That world, it's gone. Today, artificial intelligence is reshaping massive industries in real time. Entirely new careers are emerging on a Tuesday, while old ones are practically obsolete by Friday. In this fast-moving, wildly unpredictable environment, the absolute most valuable asset you have isn't just what you know today, it's your capacity to keep learning tomorrow. And the beautiful thing is, that learning compounds quietly. It's not always flashy. Like today, reading 10 pages a day or practicing a new skill for 15 minutes might not feel life-changing. But stick with it over a few months, and suddenly those small investments start connecting. Ideas overlap. Fast forward 5 years, it creates transformational opportunities. People will look at you and say, wow, they're just naturally talented, completely missing the thousands of quiet, disciplined moments of learning that actually built that unshakable freedom.
The big takeaway here is that learning has entirely shifted from an event to a lifestyle. It's no longer just something you check off the list in a university or a weekend workshop and then you're just done. The modern professional world, the teams you're leading right now, the businesses you're building, they fundamentally reward continuous, lifelong curiosity. The people who are truly thriving and navigating all this uncertainty with grace aren't necessarily the ones with the most prestigious degrees. Actually, they're the ones who remain fiercely, stubbornly curious long after the formal education ends.
All right, Section 3. The power of skill stacking.
So if continuous learning is the mindset, then skill stacking is the ultimate strategy. Having one really valuable skill is highly useful, absolutely. But imagine starting with just your core technical knowledge. That's your baseline, right? But then you stack communication right on top of it. Well, suddenly, you aren't just a technical expert sitting in a silo, you're the person who can explain incredibly complex ideas to non-technical stakeholders. Then you stack empathy on top of that. Boom. Now you can actually lead the human beings who are building the technical product. And finally, you stack adaptability. Notice how none of these skills compete with each other? They act as a massive multiplier. Combining seemingly unrelated skills gives you this incredibly dynamic personal toolkit that completely, entirely sets you apart from the crowd.
We actually have a term for this. It's called becoming a versatile specialist.
The future unequivocally belongs to people who connect disciplines, rather than remaining safely confined within just one single lane. And yes, obviously narrow specialists will always be needed for very specific things. But it is the versatile specialists, the professionals who combine deep, specific expertise with broad, interconnected capabilities, who are going to drive the absolute greatest impact, solve the most complex problems, and lead the most resilient teams moving forward. Which brings us to Section 4. Competence creates true confidence.
I hear this excuse all the time from brilliant professionals holding themselves back. They say, I'll take that leap when I feel a little more confident, or I'll finally raise my hand to lead the project when my confidence is higher. We essentially use a lack of confidence as a protective shield to justify our waiting. But guys, we have the entire equation completely backwards. Real confidence is not magically acquired through positive thinking or manifesting in your bathroom mirror. It starts with action, simply stepping into the unknown, even when you're terrified. Then comes practice. Through that messy practice, you eventually build competence. You create undeniable, real-world evidence that you can actually solve difficult problems. And it is only after you build that competence finally arrives. Confidence is earned through repeated proof. The more you invest in your skills, the more evidence you create, and the more unshakable your confidence becomes.
You don't need permission to begin becoming. Look, so many of us are subconsciously waiting around for some kind of external validation. We're waiting for a manager to tap us on the shoulder, for a mentor to magically appear and guide us, or for a new fancy job title to validate our potential. We somehow think our growth only begins when someone else recognizes us. I really want to challenge you to shatter that psychological barrier right now, today. You do not need anyone's permission to read a book, to learn how to prompt AI, to build a new habit, or to deeply invest in yourself. The only permission you will ever need comes directly from you.
And that leads to our final and most important point. Section 5, the enablement shift.
Up until now, we've been talking a lot about investing in yourself as if it's this purely individual solo pursuit. But your personal growth is fundamentally not a selfish act. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It is the absolute foundational step to becoming a better, more capable human being for the people around you. Your personal growth is actually the engine for collective success. So how do we fire up that engine? Let's get practical. First, learn daily. Even 20 minutes a day compounds massively. Build one high-value skill every single year. Seriously, don't try to boil the ocean. Just master one new capability. Read broadly, especially outside your own industry. Prioritize your physical and mental health, because a sharp mind requires a resilient body. Reflect regularly. That's how you turn raw experience into actual, usable wisdom. And finally, create more than you consume. Actually apply what you learn. Build things, mentor people, and run experiments.
And why do we do all of this? Why go through the effort? Because improving your communication doesn't just get you a nice promotion. It strengthens every single relationship you have. Improving your emotional intelligence builds profound trust across your entire organization. Your personal growth creates a massive, unstoppable ripple effect. When you level up your skills, your mindset, and your resilience, you automatically empower and uplift your entire team. You shift from just growing yourself to becoming a true enabler of others' success.
And that leaves us with the only question that truly matters when we talk about investing in ourselves. Growth isn't just how far you go, it's how many you take with you. So who are you enabling today?